Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your latest Manchester United news. We've got a big show and we're going to focus it around only a couple of talking points. It's been a big day for Manchester United. We've got a couple of here we goes from Fabrizio Romano, but most importantly, as you can see by the title of the video, Sterling to Manchester United in a swap deal for Sterling-Sancho. Can it really happen? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. We're going to talk, of course, about the here we goes we got from Fabrizio Romano. We're going to talk about Ugarte to Manchester United, what it means. And then, of course, Scott McTominay goes the opposite direction out of the club and is going to be a Napoli player in the coming hours. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And maybe talk a little bit about, what Scott McTominay done for Manchester United, because it's not all negatives, it's got to be said. But please do smash a like on the video, guys, if you haven't done so already. Hit that subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. We're on the road to 12,000 subscribers. Numbers are flying up the last few weeks, so I do appreciate it as always. But most importantly, as always, get your comments into the live chat. I want to know what you guys are thinking about this. Oshin is straight in with a whole heap of nope. There you go. And that's the general gist that I'm getting from, I suppose, the Manchester United fan base, the online fan base at least. I want to know if there's anybody there who would like to see Sterling at Manchester United. Just playing devil's advocate, he is the third highest goal scorer in the Premier League out of players that are still playing in it. Does that mean anything? We'll talk about it in a minute. But anyway, let's jump straight into it, guys, and we'll talk about the big talking point that's going on in the last few hours. Manchester United hold Raheem Sterling talks as Chelsea eye late Sterling-Sancho swoop. Now, this is all coming from Sterling-Sancho's potential, I would like to say imminent departure, but potential departure from Manchester United. And basically, Chelsea are an admirer of him. Of course they are. They're an admirer of, fucking the under 8s player down the road there, because they just like to sign everybody. So I think Chelsea, what they are trying to do is, for once, and it's always against Manchester United really, but for once, are they being a little bit smart in the transfer window and not just coming in with the checkbook and going, how much? 45? Yeah, there you go. Happy days. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to swap deal, basically. Now, we've spoke at length on this show on a number of occasions about the difficulty to get a swap deal done. Both players have to want to go in the opposite directions. Both clubs have to agree on fees. Both players need to agree on personal terms, agents' fees, sell-on costs, bonuses, all that kind of stuff. It can be quite difficult to do. However, there's been a lot of momentum gaining on this story in the last 24 hours. We spoke about it yesterday and we kind of dismissed it and laughed it off a little bit. But there's been a number of new reports coming out today suggesting that Manchester United are interested in Sterling. And the Times, nonetheless, are saying that Dan Ashworth is particularly enthusiastic about the potential swap deal involving Sterling-Sancho and Raheem Sterling. Now, Dan. You're doing so well. Yoro, Delict, Matraoui, fucking Ugarte, Xerxes. You're doing so well. Don't throw it away on one bloody transfer. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Nope. I don't want to see Raheem Sterling come to Manchester United. I just don't. I think, what is the benefit we're getting out of this? We've seen, let's take the Raheem Sterling side of this for a moment. What benefit are you getting from signing Raheem Sterling? He's got 2 good seasons under his belt in the Premier League, I would say. Maybe the first season under Pep was no good, and then the second and third season I thought he was brilliant. And then he dropped off again, and, Pep subsequently got rid of him. I think while he was at Liverpool, I didn't rate him, and he's done next to nothing since he's got to Chelsea. So you're going to exchange a guy, Sterling-Sancho, who's, what is he, 24? Is that what he is? Let's see what Sterling-Sancho is. Sancho is, 24 years of age. So you're going to get rid of a guy who's 24 years of age, whose talent is never going to be seen at Manchester United, who's on 300 plus grand a week, and who's not the type of player we need. And you're going to swap him for everything I just said there, bar he's 30 years of age, rather than, well, he'll be 30 in September, rather than 24. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It really, really doesn't. Now, we're talking about, you know, whatever about Raheem Sterling and the player that he is and his age profile and so on and so forth. He's also played for Liverpool and Manchester City, you know. Now, we've had players from both of them clubs play for Manchester United, and players from Manchester United have gone to them clubs. But have we signed somebody who's played for both? That's a trivia question. I would like maybe anybody in the chat to maybe let me know. And I'm going to do a quick Google on it. Has anyone played for Liverpool, United, and Man City? Come on, Google, help me out. No, it only gives you 2 teams. I don't know if there is, to be honest with you. I honestly don't think that there will, that ever in the past you would have had a player who played for Liverpool. Certainly not in the modern era anyway. Liverpool, Man City, and Man United. I don't think there is. I honestly don't think there is. And that has to come in to the scenario here. It has to come into the scenario. You know, what benefit are you going to be getting by getting a Raheem Sterling who's older than the guy that we're letting go and that we're swapping, and he's got all the same attributes? You know what I mean? I think he's probably a better professional than Jadon Sancho. That wouldn't be difficult. But I think we're going back to the root of it here. Is this a player that Man United actually want? Or is this how desperate Manchester United are to get rid of Jadon Sancho? And to be honest with you, I think it could be the latter there. Now, let me play devil's advocate for a moment here. If I was a manager, okay, and I could, you know that yoke that was in Men in Black, it just flashes the light and then it wipes your memory, okay. Let's say I was a manager of Manchester United and somebody done that to me and goes, here's a guy, we're not telling you who he played for, but this is what he's done. Would you sign Raheem Sterling at 30 years of age? And that's a big question to be asked and answered. I mean, Raheem Sterling has scored a lot of goals in his career, but I think he's past his best. I think his best was a fleeting couple of seasons, and other than that, I don't see the benefit of signing him now. And another thing that annoys me here is Raheem Sterling in? We seen the mould and the guidelines that INEOS wanted to sign players by. You know, age bracket was the main one. Nobody above the age of 26. Now, I've stressed this point on a number of different occasions when people have put it to me over the last few weeks and months throughout the transfer window. You know, I thought, when we've been linked with certain players, I thought Manchester United weren't going to sign anyone over the age of 30. And I said, it's not a rule that INEOS have put in. It's a guideline, okay? If somebody, let's say somebody of Bruno Fernandes's ilk was available at 27 or 28 years of age, United would probably look at him if the deal was right. But getting back to the original point, would Manchester United be going and trying to sign Raheem Sterling this summer if Chelsea hadn't approached us for a swap deal? And I think that's the biggest indicator that we shouldn't be signing Raheem Sterling, because we would not go for a player like Sterling unless Chelsea came knocking on the door, with cap in hand, going, we'll take your problem if you take ours. I don't see the benefit of it. I really, really don't. And look, I mean, if Manchester United sign Raheem Sterling, of course, I will support him because he's playing for my football club, our football club. And I might not like it. It would have the same kind of ilk as Michael Owen when he signed for United. I wasn't really too keen on it, but I hoped he scored every single week, and I celebrated when he scored. None more so than the goal against Manchester City. So it would be similar with Raheem Sterling. I don't really want him at Manchester United, but if he comes, all right, let's go. I'm not going to be getting, his name on the back of my jersey or anything like that. And anyone that fucking does, by the way, it should be, just tied to the back of a train and rode straight out of town. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. Now, is it realistic that something like this will happen? I don't really think so. And we'll go through other options for Jadon Sancho in a second. But I do want to see what you guys think here. Let me get down through some of the comments. D says, I'd sooner chew wasps than have Sterling, Tony, Sancho, Anthony or Lindelof associated with us any longer. Aaron says, would you swap any Chelsea player? To be honest, I wouldn't. Well, I would. I would take... who would I take? I would take Cole Palmer, 100%. I would take probably Enzo Fernandez. I would take Cucurella because we're short a left back. I would take Chalobah. So there is some players at Chelsea I would take, yeah. David says, the only time I'm interested in Sterling is when I'm exchanging my euros to head over to Old Trafford. Lovely, love it. D says, not sure what age Sancho is, but he's an absolute nugget. Need short of him pronto. Robbie is in. He says, Chilwell has been mentioned as part of a deal earlier in the week. I take him on loan or with no wages, even with his injury issues. But Sterling, not a hope. Seems a good pro. Unlike Sancho, though. Yeah, to be honest with you, Robbie, I'm kind of putting Chilwell in the same bracket as Sterling as well. I'm not a huge fan of him, to be quite honest with you. He's got the injury issues that we all know about. I think a gust of wind blows him over, to be honest with you. I would rather give Harry Amas his chance, to be quite honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Ben Chilwell at all. Oshin says, Sterling is an absolute disgrace. He's a diver, a moaner, trouble with a capital fucking T. He'll destroy the dressing room. Destroy it, says Oshin. Be easier to pick a random person from the phone book, says Aaron. That little T-Rex can stay at Chelsea. Bilal says, please do a poll, Tony or Sterling. Well, we all know the answer to that, Bilal. We don't need to do that. It's going to be quite easy. Peter Beardsley, people are saying, yeah, that's a good price. Peter Beardsley did play for United and Liverpool, and he played for City later in his career, didn't he? Yeah, great shout, lads. Great shout. Big up to D, jumping straight in there. He played for Shitty, Bin Dippers, Everton and United. There we go. It was late in his career that he played for City, wasn't it? I think. Yeah. Sterling can't even get a start over Mudryk. I know we need depth, but I'd take Chilwell before Sterling. Peter. Yeah, Robbie says Peter Beardsley played for all three as well. Let me see. Let me see. What else are we saying here? Sterling and 40 million sounds like a good idea. Yeah, well, I mean, look, the deal would have to be right, wouldn't it? I mean, you're talking about a guy on... I mean, Sterling is on about 300 grand. Or sorry, Sancho's on about 300 grand as well. So, they are very similar in terms of their wages, in terms of the years left on their contract, I think are very similar. The only real difference is the age, But, yeah, I mean, I could see why it would be easy to do a swap, given that, now that would mean that Sancho would have to get the same wage at Chelsea and Sterling would have to get the same wage at United for it to really be a smooth swap deal. But they won't. That's the thing. But when you think about it that way, all right, and let's think about it that way for a second, all right? If we're being hyper smart here, okay, a straight swap, let's say Sterling for Sancho, let's say Chelsea throwing a few pound with it, okay? And we're going to have to probably give Sancho a bit of a pay package to leave, like we've done with, Scott McTominay, Wan-Bissaka, so on. Chelsea are going to have to do that as well with Sterling, okay? But if you could get both of them, if we could get Sterling in, plus cash, and lower his wages to, let's say, 150 grand a week, does that not benefit Manchester United going forward? And I know it's financially, okay? And I know you've got to bring everything into consideration here. Is he a bad apple in the dressing room? Is he going to work hard? Do you have a return on investment? So on and so forth. But I think in terms of lowering the wage structure, more than anything else, it is a positive, because you will be getting 300 grand a week Sancho off the books, and if you could get Sterling on 150 grand, plus Chelsea throwing us a bit of cash that could potentially cover the pay package we give Sancho, I think financially it does work for Manchester United. However, we've spoken an awful lot in the past about, the Glazers and Ed Woodward and, Glazernomics and all this kind of stuff, where it was all about money. We're not that anymore, and now I do understand we've got to stay within FFP and PSR and so on and so forth, but there are fucking easier ways of doing that than bringing Raheem Sterling to Manchester United. Ben says, if Sterling was in a United jersey in my garden, I'd close the blinds. Ushin says, Sterling runs like a velociraptor and dives like Tom Daly. Don't think I could honestly support it. Sterling number 7, says Keane. Well, yeah, Mason Mount is already there. So Sterling and 100 mil for the inconvenience of having to put up with him. Yeah, and split that 100 mil between the United Community Channel viewers, and then we'll just go, yes, let's get on. Right, let's see. D says, that should be a bannable statement. Darryl says, I hated Owen playing at United. The dirty little scout rat. Only reason he came out United was to win a league title. Yeah, well, he said that in an interview, didn't you? You can't beat him, join him. So, Walter says, Sterling is a lifelong Man United supporter. He would play his heart out for our team. Look, he may well do that, Walter, and I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But you can't get away with the fact that he played for City and Liverpool. If he was a diehard Man United fan, would he have gone to Liverpool and City? Would I? The money was right. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Brian says, we have a Sterling, we call him Rashford. There we go. Tony or Sterling, I'd pick Gout. Tough call on Sterling, says Chris. He can score goals. Right, we're getting a bit of balance here now. Chris is saying he scores goals, so it's a tough call. Elaborate on that one for us, Chris, if you can, and we'll get into it. Sterling, a good pro, question mark. He had his agent put out a pissing and moaning letter as he wasn't playing. Not a good pro there for me. Yeah, and I do agree with that, Ushin. I think it would bring more spotlight on the club that we don't want, really, wouldn't it? So yeah, as Simon Cowell would say, it's a no from me. I think we should do that for the transfer window, transfers from now on, and now we get down to the conclusion. It's a yes from me. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Sancho, because Sancho leaving Manchester United is what everybody wants at the moment. Sancho wants out. I think United want him out. Ten Hag wants him to go. And to be honest with you, the majority of the fan base want him to go. Now, there are other options here, okay? So you don't have to be overly concerned. We know Juventus had been in for Jadon Sancho, okay? And Fabrizio Romano said today that negotiations over Jadon Sancho's future continue. Juventus in talk over a loan deal with a buy clause. United want specific conditions to be met, including salary coverage. Chelsea consider Sancho an opportunity for a swap deal. CFC want to include Sterling, and that's up to Manchester United. I think the only way Jadon Sancho goes to Chelsea and Sterling comes to Manchester United is if he doesn't go to Juventus, okay? And the Juventus deal all hinges on whether the loan to you, because they can't buy him, they can't afford to buy him, whether the loan has an obligation to buy in it. And I think that's what United are working at the moment. They don't want the same situation in 12 months' time with Sancho coming back to Manchester United. They want that obligation to buy in the loan contract. And like you've seen here, they also want salary coverage, because they don't want to pay the majority of Jadon Sancho's salary like we did last year for him to go and play for another club. You know, this is INEOS now. This is a new ownership. They're not going to do that. So they're working hard to get a permanent deal. And I think, okay, if... Now this is... Yeah, I mean, I think if this goes into late next week and Juventus don't agree to the terms that United propose with an obligation to buy, I think United will pull the trigger on Chelsea just to get Sancho gone and bring in Raheem Sterling. I honestly could see it. Now, I mean, what's better for United? I think it's better for United if Sancho just goes to Juventus. Even though we're not bringing in another player to replace him, which we could potentially do by bringing in Sterling, I think getting Sancho gone to Juventus would be the best case scenario for everybody involved. Sancho gets out of the spotlight in England. You know, the criticism from Manchester United, if he's playing well, is not as big. We will still get it. You know, Juve will be in the Champions League, so I'm sure we'll get that, you know, backlash from, you know, the likes of fucking talk shite on the radio saying, you know, oh, look what Sancho's doing at Juventus and United let him go. But I think that spotlight would be a lot more intensified if he goes to Chelsea and he does half good, you know. And look, if he goes to Chelsea and does okay and does well, I don't really give a shit as long as we, you know, finish ahead of Chelsea. That's all I would say in that situation. I want to finish ahead of every team, even though that's not possible at the moment. And you know, it's if he goes to Chelsea, it's unwanted negativity onto Manchester United. But that's if he does well. Now, he could very well go to Chelsea and get swallowed up by, you know, the Chelsea machine at the moment, where they sign a whole heap of players and, you know, some of them fall by the wayside because they can't get a game and, you know, they're not putting in the effort, and the manager... I mean, is Jadon Sancho to Chelsea a manager signing for them, or is it them doing what they're doing with, you know, Todd Bowley with his you know, or what them did you get in America, the big finger that's good, do 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 do, you know, I'm the boss. Yeah, I don't know what the scenario is there with Chelsea, but I would rather we get Jadon Sancho off to Italy, out of the spotlight, let him do what he wants over there, and I think it would be better for him as well, to be honest with you. He would be out of the spotlight in England, and I think the pressure wouldn't be as big for him. So yeah, let's see what happens. But I reiterate what I've said. United are working on getting that obligation to buy into the Jadon Sancho loan deal to Juventus. And if that doesn't get input and Juventus don't agree to that, I could very easily see United later this week, going to Chelsea and saying, all right, let's do the swap. We want Jadon Sancho gone. Let's do the swap. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, to be quite honest with you. Let me see here before we go any further. Let's see what you guys are saying. Chris has explained himself. Sterling goes to goal. He finds the right place to score. Interesting point there. D says, if Juve want him, I want Chiesa this way. Well, it looks like Chiesa is actually going to Liverpool. Did we get it? Here we go from Fabrizio Romano on that. Let me have a quick look and see. Fabrizio Romano, Chiesa. Oh no. Liverpool make an initial approach for him as possible option for the final days. Chiesa available on the market as Juve want to find a solution. Make contact. Liverpool exploring conditions of the deal, as Chiesa would be keen on the Premier League. I heard that was as little as 15 million. If we go down here, has that been mentioned anywhere? I've seen as little as 15 million for Chiesa. Yeah, maybe it wasn't Fabrizio that mentioned it. Yeah, maybe it wasn't Fabrizio that mentioned it. But yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it be an option for United to go to Juventus and go, give us Chiesa and 20 million, and you can have Jadon Sancho. And I think that's a viable option. I think it is a viable option. And lads, right? How sweet would it be if Man United just swooped in and took Chiesa off of Liverpool between now and Saturday night? I think I would literally cream my pants. I would just go, ha 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 ha. It would be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it? And a very good footballer as well. He fits the age profile that INEOS want. I think he 25, 26 maybe. Maybe even younger, but a very, very good footballer. So, yeah, I mean, Chiesa to United and Jadon Sancho going the other way. Maybe that's why Juventus and United are in such deep discussions at the moment. Maybe it's not just the obligation to buy that United and Juventus are holding up this bid. Maybe they're actually negotiating a swap deal. Now, I don't know. Again, we go back to what we said at the start of the live and the start of the show, is that swap deals are hard to do. They are hard to do, and they're quite time consuming as well. Juve will not do an obligation to buy. Well, I think United will walk away then, to be quite honest with you, Chris. We have to Friday to decide if he goes to Chelsea. Sterling will have to take a 2-year deal. He's a short-term answer to score goals. Are you expecting any transfer deadline day madness? This one, more than anything else, the Jadon Sancho thing, I think could stretch. But in terms of players coming in, I don't think there will be, unless the Jadon Sancho saga turns out to be a swap deal. You know what I mean? I think other than that, I can't see United doing too much business. Guys, please do smash a like on the video. Nearly 70 people watching and only 18 likes. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Hit that like button. It's free to do. Helps out the channel an awful lot. Please just give it a quick like if you can. And do hit subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. Great to see the numbers flying up every night. And I do appreciate you all being here to listen to my dribble. David says, Juve trying to sell Chiesa. Juventus want Sancho. Put 2 and 2 together. We should ask for a swap. There you go. 2 plus 2 is 5. D says, yeah, tell Juve we will give them 10 million and Sancho for Chiesa. This way would also obliterate the bin dippers for a second signing this window. Ben says he wants Barca. Initial approach, tell Juve we will give them Sancho for Chiesa. Exactly. I'd be in my element. I'd be laughing at the lot of them. Mr. Chimpa says, better to see Sancho to Juve than Chelsea. I agree. 100%. 100%. Right, guys, want to move it on. We've got a couple of here we goes today in relation to players in and players out. Now, the first one is this handsome devil. Well, yeah, that's, a bit of a loose term. Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United. Here we go. Deal sealed between the clubs after personal terms were agreed in July. €50 million fixed fee plus €10 million in add-ons will be the final package. Ugarte will travel to Manchester as he only wants United, and United only wanted him. Get up the yard. Brilliant news. Brilliant news. Now, it does look like Manchester United have got a cheaper deal than initially expected. We did know that Juventus wanted 60 million up front. Now, we've got it for 50 million plus 10 million in add-ons. Now, them add-ons supposedly are performance-based add-ons, which means if he does well, we pay. And that's always something you are happy to do. So getting him for 50 million euro, which is about 42 million pounds, for a player of his caliber, I think, again, it's very, very good business by INEOS, by whoever's doing the negotiations. Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada. United are cooking in the transfer market, lads. I don't care what anybody says. If this transfer window is an indication to what's coming in future transfer windows down the line, it ain't going to take fucking long for 21 to come. So it's not. Come on. I'm excited. Great signing, really, really happy with it. And subsequently, then after the Ugarte, here we go. Literally, what? 15 minutes later, we got Scott McTominay to Napoli. Here we go. Deal in place for 30 million euros plus a sell-on clause. United have authorised Scott to travel for medical tests and contract signing. Both Lukaku and McTominay set for travel. Look at Scott McTominay in that picture. Fabrizio needs to get someone else to do his photoshopping for him, because, I mean, look at the nose. Look. Let me zoom in on that. Look, and the square head. Anyway, sorry, a bit sidetracked there. Scott McTominay to Napoli. Yeah, we got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. And look, first and foremost, to Scott McTominay, not that he watches the channel or anything, but of course we wish him the best in his future career at Napoli in Serie A and in the Champions League as well. I think Napoli are in the Champions League, I think. So, or are they? I don't think they are, actually. Are they in the Europa League? One sec. Serie A table 23-24. No, they're not. What? Who are you calling? Don't call anyone. What are you on about phone? No, Napoli finished mid-table. They finished 10th, so they're not in Europe at all. So they're not. So, yeah, didn't know that. I'm obviously thinking about the season before when they won the league. But, yeah, you wish Scott McTominay all the best in his career. The one thing I would have to say about Scott McTominay is he never gave anything less than his best for United. You know, he always wore his heart on his sleeve. He always gave everything on the pitch. Scored some important goals for us, you know, and will always be considered, you know, a Manchester United player. I won't say a legend because that's, you know, silly. But a good player for Manchester United. A decent, solid player for United. Subsequently, he's not good enough for where we need to go, you know, and I think that's been quite clear for the last 4 years, 5 years maybe. You know, Roy Keane called it years ago on Sky. If you think Fred and Scott McTominay are going to get Manchester United back to winning league titles, you're in cuckoo land. And he was right. Of course he was right. We haven't won any league titles, of course, since he said that. And I think when you're talking about Scott McTominay going for 30 million, which is pure profit, by the way, and then we're talking about Ugarte for 50, I mean, we're talking about a net spend of 20 million euro to get Ugarte in. I think it's fantastic business, again, out of Manchester United. And these are the way we have, and you can always look at, you'll always see idiots online, you know, opposition fans and so on and so forth going, ha, you paid 60 million for Ugarte and, you know, you said you wouldn't do that. We actually didn't, you know. And if you balance the books with Scott McTominay going as pure profit and Ugarte coming in with a net spend of 20 million, it's fantastic business out of INEOS. It really, really is. Really smart. I mean, and lads, I mean, I'm so excited about it. I can't underestimate how excited I am about how well INEOS are doing in the transfer market. We've gone from literally the laughing stock of European football in the transfer market to literally overnight being real contenders and doing really smart deals. You know, we're selling our players that are on the fringes, and they may be academy players and young, and we mightn't be selling them for the same kind of money that City are, but we're getting massive sell-on clauses within the contracts. We're getting add-ons, so on and so forth. We're getting deals in. The De Ligt and Mazraoui coming in for 60 million combined. Ugarte coming in with Scott McTominay going out for a net spend of 20 million euro is fantastic business. It's absolutely fantastic business. To get someone like Joshua Zirkzee in, and I think he's only on I don't think he's even on 50 grand a week. It's really, really smart business out United. We've turned a corner and we've turned it very sharp. And if this is how Manchester United are going to be in the transfer market for the upcoming few seasons, I'm really excited. And I think we'll be back challenging sooner rather than later. I honestly do. Let me just write the time down of that, because I will be using that as the TikTok. Anyway, let me see what you guys are saying here. Let me see. Let me scroll back a little bit. David says, I'm not a stat guy, but saw a thing today saying that Ugarte has made the most tackles in Europe since 23-24 season. Maybe he's the right bollocks that we need. You need a lad like that. I've always, I heard this before, and it's something I've always stood by. Now, it goes with the defence, okay? In a back four, you need 2 butchers and you need 2 surgeons, okay? 2 fucking good lads that can play football and 2 lads that'll murder ya. You know what I mean? On the football pitch, YouTube. Don't demonetize me. And in the midfield, now that you have a midfield 3, you need 2 that can play. Well, they all need to be able to play to a certain extent, but you need 1 lad in there that's going to fucking give you it, and stick it into lads. And Ugarte seems to be that guy. He is that lad, supposedly, and I did see all of them stats as well, David, so it's exciting. It really is. Robbie says, excited for Ugarte, exactly like Leach, loves a tackle, doesn't lose the ball much on stats. About time we had a lad in midfield who will kick lumps. Absolutely, 100%, Robbie. Couldn't agree with you anymore. Let's go, Ugarte, very happy, says Chris. Oshin says, going to miss McTominay coming on to ruin Chris here. That's a very 1940s German propaganda poster. That is, yeah, maybe so. David says, United's best ever window for sales. I read as well, 160 plus million made. That on its own is incredible work. It is incredible work. We've sold 13 players this summer, and I think Scott McTominay is the 14th. It's incredible business. When we talk about clearing out the unwanted material there, INEOS are not wasting any time. And lads, we said it. Ashworth, Barada, Wilcox, Vivell, Brailsford, all of these guys, they know what they're doing. We've asked for competency in areas that we needed on the back of the Glazer reign and the Woodward reign. And we've got it. And look what you can do when you're a well-run football club. And we've only started. 21 is coming. Maybe not this season, but it's fucking coming. McTominay and Lukaku in the same team. Poor Neapolitans. Well, I tell you one thing. They'll be good at corners. David says, Carl Anker made a great point about McTominay and talking to the Devils. Highland would have had so many goals last season, only for Scott getting the ball before him. It's a good point. It is a good point. D says, INEOS have done away with the United tax in a single window. What a difference they've made, and hopefully over time they can fully buy out those leeches. Hat-trick hero Fred, says Ben. Mr. Chimpa says, the couch has been given much of players her needed. We need results and trophies now, nothing else. There we go. Daryl says, we also need to get Lindelof and Eriksson out the gap. I don't think Eriksson is going to leave, and I don't think Lindelof is going to leave. I think Lindelof will be a last resort backup to fullback, because we know he can play there, and it will mean we won't go out and get a fullback this summer. But relax, lads. A lot of people in the comment section on TikTok of some of the videos today that I put up, giving out that we haven't got a left back. Fucking chill out. You can't do it all in the one window. It's been a very, very positive window. Oshin says, heard Eriksson to Ajax for 5 million. Yes, supposedly United offered him to Ajax for 5 million. We heard that it wasn't last week. I think it was maybe it was early last week. No updates on it yet. Look, supposedly, I did read that Eriksson is quite happy in Manchester. His family is settled. His kids like it there. They're in school. He's got a year left on his deal. We got him for free. So, if he does stay for one more season as a squad player, brilliant. No problem. Bring him on for the Carabao Cup games against, I don't know, whoever, or the FA Cup games against Carlisle. No problem. And if we need him there, then, when... hopefully, a lot this season will be 2 or 3 goals up. And then you can go, right, Cobby, off you come. Christian, there you go, half an hour. that's what we need. We need players like that. So don't be in a hurry just to get rid of players because they're not in the starting 11. We need a squad. And I think if Eriksen and Lindelof stay, they'll be squad players. They're not on huge money. Either of them are. All right, we're going to lose both of them next year on a free. We've got Eriksen on a free. And what would you get for Lindelof? Would you even get 10 million? Probably not. So in the grand scheme of things, a squad. Let me see. Have we got anything else to talk about here? I don't think we do. I think that's it. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Would love Chiesa, says Chris. Oshin said, heard Eriksen die. Oh yeah, we read that one. Sorry. I hope he goes, says Daryl. We've got a left back though. We've 2 in Dalot and Mazraoui. There we go. Exactly. That's what I've been saying as well. He'll be a decent cup player, says Oshin. 100%. Lindelof's missus was jetting off on Insta. I don't know. I don't follow that. Sanjay Zin says, good evening, everyone. Good to see you, pal. Thanks for joining again. Daryl says, saw that, Ben, with a here we go caption. All right, okay. We'll be lucky to get a tenner, says T. Yeah, there you go. I would rather Lindelof than Maguire. Well, see, the thing about it is, Lindelof is on less money, and you would get more money for Harry Maguire. Maguire's on more money, so he's probably going to say. Mr. Chibba says, wishing McTominay all the best. He was really doing all he can to support the team. I agree wholeheartedly with that statement as well. Guys, please do smash a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Look, take a second. Look. But you can put it up in the chat. You know, I can do it as well. You know, let's get the thumbs up going if you can. And if you are new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button as well. Like I said, we're on the road to 12,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. Can't believe it, considering this time last year we had 3,000 subscribers. So absolutely phenomenal. I appreciate every last one of you and all of the new people coming in to the chat and joining the community all the time. You're absolute legends, and welcome if you are new. Guys, I'll be back again tomorrow. Sorry, before we go, tomorrow is quiz night, okay? So there's not going to be a United news show tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is for members only. Episode 1 of our quiz starts tomorrow night, so please do join as an official channel member if you want to get involved in our quiz live on air. We're doing our quiz tomorrow, the early days of Manchester United, from the foundation of the club from the formation of the club to when Sir Alex Ferguson took over as manager. We've got 20 questions, and we're going to see how everybody gets on. And you've just got to be honest, because I've got no way of keeping score but we'll have a little bit of fun doing it as well, guys. So if you do want to get involved, 9 p.m. tomorrow night, any of the official channel members, it's for channel members only. I'll have the settings there where only channel members can watch. So if you are a subscriber, you won't be able to join tomorrow. You have to be a channel member. The link is in the description of the video to join, or you just hit the join button underneath the video if that's something you want to do. Get involved tomorrow as well. And I'm going to try and start getting out the FPL videos for channel members, for official members as well, guys. It's just I'm so stuck for time with having a full-time job and 2 kids and doing all the news shows and watch-alongs and so on and so forth. I will try and get them out every week as well. They might only be maybe 10 or 15 minute videos where I do a little live where I'm, debating on who I change in my team and so on and so forth. But yeah, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, episode 1 of the quiz. Hope all the members I can see you all there. And like I said, do join if you're not a member yet. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.